Ryan walks you through a tactic and deal structure that anybody listening can do right now to bring in an additional £1,000 per month into your household, to support your family, to pay your bills, or to keep your business afloat if you have cash flow problems. If you are looking for ways to make more money right now, and are looking for a proven way to increase your income during this horrendous pandemic, this episode is the answer you are looking for. Show me the money on Wednesday. If you have a deal right now and you don't know the best way to structure it, if you post a deal in the community group on Facebook called Property Crash Course, Ryan will help you unlock hidden profits and save you from locking yourself into a loss on those bad deals that every property sourcer wants you to buy.
Okay, so this episode is all about how anybody right now can add or earn at least an additional £1,000 per calendar month to bring it into their business, to bring it into their household, to, feed their family or pay their bills or even prevent their business from going bust if they need that cash flow right now. So I'm always asked by investors and property people and entrepreneurs and anybody else that we're working with right now, how can we make money from property right now? Okay. Now, lots of people think because of the pandemic, because of coronavirus, COVID-19, obviously it's a horrendous thing, which has, had a massive consequences throughout the whole of the world. And obviously we're still only just getting started. But for any of those guys or girls which are sat at home scratching their heads, not really knowing how they can make any more money right now, or maybe they're thinking that these things aren't possible, or maybe they just haven't had these ideas or insight, or they're even the type of people that need to see somebody else doing it, up close and personal, to give them the belief, to give them the confidence that they can also copy this strategy. They can also steal these secrets. They can also, make this a real success and make it work. So I actually learn like that. I need to see somebody else doing it. That's how I've always learned. Instead of just reading something about it, obviously I like to just read to get the idea initially, but then actually do it or see somebody else doing it. That's the way I've always learned. So this episode is for anybody who wants more money right now, an extra, £1,000 a month right now, which is achievable even during the pandemic. So I'm going to explain about, how this actually works, okay? Because this particular strategy, it's very, very simple, okay? It's a property strategy, but don't worry, you don't need to buy a single property, okay? And like I've been saying since around 2008, in the aftermath of the credit crunch, we used to rely on finance, we'd rely on banks, we'd rely on investors, we'd rely on bridging companies and private investors and everything else you can think of, friends, family, colleague, anybody who wanted to make money. We relied on those guys to use that money to buy property, okay? And then we would use the bank's money to go with that money. So then we had, then we could buy lots of properties, okay? When that was taken away around 2008, the credit crunch, the lack of finance, the lack of funding, no confidence in the market and everything else, it meant we had to find other ways to make money from property, but still being able to buy property or control property. So really from about 2008, we started to control property more, which is part of this particular strategy that I'm sharing with you guys right now. That works. We're in, in the pandemic in 2020, in the heart of the coronavirus. I mean, it could still get worse. We don't know when we're going to come out of this, but this is just to show you guys, from all of you guys and girls asking questions, is it still possible to make money from property right now? So this is living proof that we're doing it. We've just done one of these deals literally yesterday. So we're doing multiple of these deals right now. It's like a strategy that's working for us right now during the coronavirus, okay? So it's not as if we're just talking about it. This is actually what we're doing. So this is just documenting something that I've done, something that we're doing, something that works, something I can share with you guys, my audience, this community, my listeners, to bring you guys as much value as possible. And damn, I hope at least you give me a review, a 5-star review for sharing this content with you guys. I'll keep bringing the answers, bringing the solutions, bringing the tactics, bringing the strategies, bringing everything that you guys need to just execute on to make money, as long as you just give me a review. How about that? Just give me a nice 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, okay? I'd really appreciate that. Okay, so with that said, okay, as you can imagine right now in the pandemic, let's look at the holiday rental market, okay? The holiday rental market. This is very briefly somebody renting a property that's got it fully furnished, up and running, cutlery, microwaves, toasters, kettles, ironing board, bedding, linen, absolutely everything you could think of, which comes with a furnished holiday let. Now, anybody who's unsure what a furnished holiday let is, it's just very simply, just think of a hotel. Just think of a hotel. Everything is there that you need, you just bring your bag. Now, this is just, a furnished holiday let is simply a flat, a studio, a small house, a big house, a massive house, any residential property that's been set up like a hotel where guests can just check in for one night, 1 week, 1 month, okay? Just like a hotel. Now that's out of the way. If you can imagine right now, well, let me explain. Instead of imagining, this is what's happened. Because the hospitality industry is basically closed, it's completely closed. It's not even legal to operate in the hospitality industry right now. Don't worry, this isn't illegal what I'm sharing with you guys right now, okay? So, as you can imagine, all of those landlords, all of those investors, all of those people have put their properties on the market, okay, got them ready as a furnished holiday let, and they was waiting for the season to start. The season hasn't started because of the pandemic, and these properties are doing what right now? Sitting empty, costing the landlords money, okay? So they're sitting empty right now, costing the landlords money. Now, it's been long enough for the landlords to know now that there's been no guests, there's been no bookings. Even Booking.com have cancelled all of the bookings from the 23rd of March, and they've also put restrictions on and limited, and, you know, there's been a period where they can't even accept any more bookings, okay? Now, that's Booking.com. Now, the other OTA is Airbnb. They've done more or less a similar thing, and right now they're closed, so you can't even book through Airbnb. And I think they just borrowed something like $2 billion to shore them up, to shore the company up, to keep them going, because that's all that they do. And I think they cut around about 25% of their workforce. So they're struggling right now, okay? It's not good that people are struggling, but all I'm trying to share with you guys is that brings opportunity. It brings change. It brings a transfer of wealth, okay? So if you just get into the flow of where that wealth is, you can direct some of that money, some of that income, some of that cash to you, okay? So I'm just trying to show you how you can get in front of some of that money, okay? It's exactly what we're doing right now in my business, okay? So those properties are empty right now. There's no prospect of when they'll even open up. Even so, I think the hospitality may open up as long as, you know, certain targets are met with the rate of the spread of the infection, as long as it stays lower, all these technical terms. Basically, as long as it doesn't get any worse and it only gets better with the coronavirus, then around about, what are we in now? June, July, a couple of months, then the holiday or hospitality market may open up, okay? Until then, these properties are sitting empty. Because they're sitting empty, those landlords are up for doing deals. Now, hold on a minute. You might think, if I do a deal with a landlord, how am I going to fill it? I'm going to give you that. Hold on a second, okay? So, we're searching online. We're searching the internet. We're shaking the trees, okay? So, where all the apples and all the fruits are falling off the trees, and then it's a landlord, or then it's an investor, or then it's an agent, or then it's someone who knows someone who's got a property that's sitting empty, and we're getting in front of those guys on the phone, of course, or, you know, social distancing and all of that jazz, and negotiating a deal with them, okay? Let me give you an example of some of the deals we've recently negotiated, okay? A 3-bedroom flat, which should rent for, on a local market rent, okay? It should rent for around about About 1,700 without the bills. So include the bills, call it 2,000. Okay, we got that, closed that deal, secured that deal for 1,350. If you're already shortletting on Booking.com or Airbnb and you're not generating 8,200 for your 3 beds, 6,200 for your 2 beds, or even 4,100 for your 1 beds each month, then oh my goodness, you're losing money every single month. Now, I created an ebook to show you exactly how we hit those numbers consistently in my business, and I want to give you a free copy so I can show you exactly how you can do the same. Just go to www.theyrentanyhome.com/free book and tell me where to send your copy. Does that make sense? Including all of the bills. So let's say the bills are 300 approximately. It's come down from around 1,700 down to about £1,000 a month, just over, okay? Now that's nearly 50% off, or that more or less is 50% off, okay? You can't get these deals usually. You can only get them right now, okay? That's more or less 50% off, okay? Now that bridges the gap. It covers the costs, or as close as possible to the cost for the landlord during this period. Okay, that's for a month. And then what we do with that property is we run it as exactly as it is, a furnished holiday let. So we talk to the owner and say, we've got clients, we've got guests, we want to book it. We'll book it for this period. We just have to have consent that we can rotate the guests and put our own clients inside, which of course, not many are going to say no to that right now. Otherwise, the alternative is it just sits empty, costing them money. So do they want £1,350 per calendar month while it's empty, or do they not? It's very, very simple, okay? I haven't come across anybody who has said no to this offer yet, okay? And we're calling lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people, okay? So that property, now you're probably wondering, well, how do we find guests for that particular property? Now, right now, it's illegal because the hospitality industry is not open, okay? It's illegal to let people stay out of their house overnight. It's on the government website of all the guidelines and everything going on. That's not what we're about here. There is a way which works right now. I'm just about to share with you guys. Key workers are allowed to travel. Critical workers are allowed to travel. Construction workers, okay? So I'm not talking about NHS. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about anybody who's permitted to work right now. This is anybody. Security guards, okay? It could be somebody who even works in the superstore. It could be someone who deals with fire alarms. It could be somebody who's, I don't know, an emergency gas engineer. It could be somebody who's working for Southern Water. We got some of those clients, okay? It could be somebody who works for British Gas or Transco, okay? Those guys are classed as critical workers, key workers, okay? So they can still work, they can still travel, they can still conduct their business, they can still go and stay in, well, any accommodation that's available because they're not going on a holiday, okay? We're not talking about tourists, we're not talking about guests, we're not talking about those travelers. I got into a lot of trouble potentially the other day about that, which I'll tell you all about in another episode, or you've already heard it. And yeah, so we don't do anything like that. We're talking about the people that are allowed to travel. These guys still need to travel, okay? Those guys can still book the properties. Those guys can still use the online travel agents. Those guys can still reply to your adverts on the internet that you can place on certain websites to advertise that property. So let me give you an example. £100 a night, which in this city where we are, and we're in multiple cities, so that's the average rate you can still achieve right now. When you multiply that by 30 days, okay, that's what, £3,000. That's a very, 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 very low rate. This time last year, we were getting up to £700 for one particular night, on a weekend, of course, on a certain type of property, okay? So £100 a night is you can easily achieve that, or that's achievable right now. Not easily, but it is achievable right now, okay? I'm talking 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms that can accommodate 4, 5, 6 people, okay? contractors, people traveling in larger groups that need accommodation, or even just 4 people, or even 2 people that want a bedroom each. It's still only £50 each if it's 2. If it's 4 people, it's £25 each, okay? If it's 6 people, it's not a lot of money at all for a property like that at £100 a month. Sorry, £100 a month, yeah, I wish. £100 a night, okay? So that's £3,000 approximately for the month. When you're paying the $1,350 that I just shared with you guys, that we actually paid for this particular property, is £1,650. That's gross profit, as long as you find the guests, you find the companies, you find the key workers, you find the contractors, you find the Southern Water workers, you find the gas engineers, the Transcos, the British Gas, you find the security guards, the SIA or SIR security guards, okay? That's your job. But for finding those guys, you have the opportunity to earn around about £1,650 a month by finding the properties at the right price, which you can by negotiating with landlords right now. Remember, they're sitting empty otherwise, and they're all set up and ready to go. And then you just do a better job of only targeting key workers, okay? Only targeting critical workers, only targeting gas engineers, only targeting people that work for Transco, British Gas, Southern Water, security guards, okay? Anybody who needs accommodation, which has, obviously, they're allowed to travel and they're working right now, okay? That's the market. Now, there's a multitude of ways that you can do that, and we do that. You could use Facebook adverts. You can use YouTube pre-roll adverts to find them. You can go into groups in certain cities that you have properties in. You can even post the advert on Facebook in certain groups, okay, that you got property for key workers. You can even post on websites like Gumtree, OpenRent, in the Friday ad, online, on certain forums. There's a magnitude of places that you can advertise your short-term rental property available. There's a multitude of them, okay? So let's look at the numbers again. $1,650 is a gross profit that you could make based on this particular deal, as long as it's rented for those 30 days across the course of the month. Maybe you'll have a lower occupancy of maybe 20 nights, but maybe you'll have a higher nightly rate. It should balance itself around to be in the region of about £3,000 across the course of the month. You may get one company, you may get one group, you may get one company stays for a week, you may get a company stays for 2 weeks, you may get a company stays for the full 30 days, you may get someone who stays just Sunday to Friday checkout. It just depends on where you are, but that's your job to add the value. When you add the value and find those guests, when you take your costs off, there's no booking fees. You've obviously got cleaning fees and a bit of admin, but from that £1,650, you can easily generate an extra £1,000 every single month while you're doing this. Now, depending on where you are, you may think, I could do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of these right now, because there's a very, very short window of opportunity for you guys to get as many as you can right now, because this window is only open now. Soon, when everything gets better, this will go away. So the margins will get tighter. The landlords won't be, that open to accepting 50% off of the market rent when everything is back to normal, if we ever go back to normal, okay? So there's a timeline on this. That's when it can be used, which is right now. So I want all of you guys, if you're looking for extra money, to really give this some thought and start to have a look on the internet, look at some property prices, and look at the ones that have towels on the bed. The ones that have towels on the bed, they have microwaves, they're fully furnished, okay? You can see in the pictures, there's dining sets on the table. You can see, obviously, the towels on the bed is the trick that tells you this is or was a furnished holiday let. Those are the ones you want to be targeting, okay? If you don't do this right now, like I just said, there's a very small window of opportunity. So if you want to make money from property right now without buying a property, without owning a property, you're just controlling it, and all you're doing is paying one rent, and then you're collecting a much higher rent from somebody else. So it's very simple. It's rental arbitrage. No more than that. You pay over here 1,350 and you collect approximately £3,000 across the course of the month, every single month, and then it's rental arbitrage. Your 3,000 comes in, you pay them the 1,650 and the 1,350, and you get to collect the gross 1,650. Now those numbers do change, they do fluctuate based on how good you are, how fast you can fill it, and how many nights your guests book. But this is the opportunity right now. This works, guys. This works. Let me tell you about another deal that we did, okay?
Make sure you've subscribed, because tomorrow you'll get problems, challenges, and opportunities on Thursday. Every Thursday, Ryan takes you deep inside his business, sharing his problems, walks you through his challenges, talks about the opportunities that you only find once you've broken through the wall. That's the secret that every entrepreneur discovers, because the biggest problem in your business today usually becomes your greatest opportunity and asset tomorrow.
At the same time, 2 on the same day, which was yesterday, okay? Now is another one, it was 1,375. Now this one is a 3-bedroom house. It has parking, it has an integral garage, it has a garden, so it's got outside space. It's right in the city centre, in a prime location. It's on 3 floors, it's a townhouse, and it would usually rent for around about 2,000 to a local market rent, okay, that particular property with the bills. However, as a furnished holiday rental in that city where we already have multiple deals, we know that in reality last year from June, July, August, September, in those 4 months in the high season, okay, that property on average would have been rented for around £5,000 every single month. Now, I'm not saying we'll get £5,000 a month for it right now because the market's completely different, but we would get £3,000 a month for that property as well. So we pay $1,375, let's just say $1,400. It will generate around about £3,000. That leaves about £1,600 gross every single month, okay? We've done 2 of those deals on the same day. One was a 3-bedroom flat right by the seafront. One is a 3-bedroom townhouse right by the seafront. Those 2 deals there alone, between them, each month will generate somewhere in the region of, well, about £3,000 profit, gross profit, just between those 2 at the end of the month. So if you're looking for ways to make money right now, if you're unsure of how to make money right now, this episode should have given you enough information, enough insight for you to hopefully have that aha moment, for you to see other people are doing this and making this work right now. We've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm sharing the tactics and strategies that would probably take you maybe a decade to learn on your own, okay? So this works right now in the UK. I know many of you guys are in other parts of the world, especially America. We've got a very large audience. Again, there's different licensing rules and tenancy rules and laws and regulations in your own country, okay? But England, this works right now. But I would say this also works in America where you are right now, and all of you guys in other countries. Just look at the local laws and look at the margins and look at the arbitrage and then look at the restrictions from the government and see who can stay and travel. Then look and see where the cities are and where people are, where key workers are, where contractors are, where there's still industry or there's some certain markets where they're allowed to work, so there's still demand for people to be there to build construction and security and key workers and critical workers and everything else like that. And then look in those cities. Then just look at the numbers. This can be done very quickly on the back of a cigarette packet, okay? You can have a look at how much they're asking for the rent, how many are on. If there's lots on, you know you can get a much better deal. If there's not a lot of properties on, then you know that the prices will still probably be quite high. However, you won't know until you ask the landlord the question. Look at your numbers, work backwards, and see where your maximum offer is if the property is advertised above the price that you're prepared to pay, okay? So just look at what you think you could achieve, look at where you would need that property to be at, and then just make them an offer. Yes, I can see, Mr. Landlord, your property is advertised at £2,000 a month fully furnished, which I understand would work, maybe 6 months ago. But right now, the best I could do is $1,200 a month or even $1,300 a month. If that's something that would work for you, fully furnished, inclusive of all the bills, I'd like to rent it or book it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Right now, during this pandemic, here's my phone number. Let's discuss this further, okay? If you get, say, 10 of those out every single day to local landlords, okay, you will get some response. You will get some inquiries. You will get some landlords calling you, wanting to do some deals with you to find out more. And it's very simple. You're renting it from them at one rate. You've got permission so you can rotate your own guests, and then you re-rent it at another rate. It's that simple, okay? So there's money to be made right now in property. You don't need to have masses of experience. You don't need to have masses of money. You don't need to have, unlimited time. You just need to find the properties, rent them from the landlords, work out a mutually beneficial deal with the landlords. Remember, most of these are giving their properties away right now. We're getting some deals just under 75% below the market rent. This deal I just shared with you was 50% below the market rent. Another deal I just shared with you was just under 50% below the market rent. I could go all day long sharing with you guys right now about this was 2,000, we got it for 1,200. This was 3,500, we got it for 1,100. This was 2,000, we got it for 1,350. This was just over 2,000, we got it for 1,375. I could reel off lots and lots and lots and lots of different deals, which are all around, on average, about 30 to 60% below the market rent. It's very simple. It's rental arbitrage. It works right now. You don't need to have a degree to do this. If you're looking for ways to bring more money into your household right now, this is how you do it. Okay, guys? If you have any questions, if you want to find out more about this, I'm happy to help you guys. I've got a completely free resource that you could go to where you can ask me questions exactly about this, but you got to be quick because this works right now, okay? All you need to do is go onto Facebook. I have a community on there, a brand new group I've just created during the coronavirus. Okay, I've just created it. It's facebook.com, of course, /groups/property crash course. You go there, you join, you ask me any question you want about this and any other tactic or anything else you need to make money from property right now. And my promise is I give that to you. There's nothing for sale. It's completely free. Just here to help you guys make money right now to just get some money coming into your household, just to keep feeding your family, just to keep the wolves from the door, just to maybe shore up your business that might have cash flow challenges, or if you just want to increase the amount of money you're making right now, because right now the largest transfer of wealth is happening right now. So you need this right now, okay? I would love to hear your thoughts.
He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a fuck. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all of your friends about this show.